Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Superhero Deep Dive. I am your host Jason. I've got a little bit of sinus junk going on, so if I cough, if I sound all weird, I apologize in advance because it's probably going to happen. Excuse me, like that. Okay, I do have a great show planned for you though. It was much more detailed than I thought it would be, but that's not a bad thing. So, and if I do need to cough, I'm going to try to turn away from the mic. So you may hear it, but it may not be as loud. Excuse me. Okay. Let me get my normal disclaimers and then we'll get into it. So the information is pulled from different sources across the internet and may or may not be completely complete, but they do give a really good insight on the current superhero. Also, if you are interested in listening to me on internet radio, I am broadcast on Outworld Fleet Radio every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the day, and their website is www.un-conventional.com/radio. I'm wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, except Apple Podcasts for some reason. I don't know. Apple just doesn't like me, I guess. I don't know. And I might be on there. Last time I looked, I haven't seen it. But, also, you can catch me every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. I upload new videos, or I upload the podcast with the slideshow on YouTube under Superhero Deep Dive. I would really appreciate it if you looked it up and subscribed. Give it a watch. It'll give you a really good insight on the hero as well with the pictures. Also, if nothing else, you can just open it in a new tab and mute the tab on your internet browser, or just mute the video and play it. And that way I get credit for the watch hours. But it would really help me out a lot to grow the channel. I want to do a giveaway at 500 subscribers, and right now I'm a little over 100, so I have a long way to go. And I have a lot of videos out there, so we'll see how that happens. You can also catch me on Twitter and Instagram under Super Deep Dive, and I use the hashtag Superhero Deep Dive. So there's that. All right. This week I am talking about the hero Polaris. Her real name is Lorna Dane, and she had originally met the original team of X-Men while still a student. Excuse me. When the villain Mesmero used his psyche generator to summon mutants in North America with latent powers, Lorna found herself compelled to travel to San Francisco where Mesmero was. There she encountered the X-Men Iceman, who broke her trance by causing her to slip on a patch of ice and then convinced her to come to his apartment. 'Cause that makes perfect sense, right? I don't know. But at the apartment, Lorna met the rest of the X-Men, who soon learned that she had latent mutant powers. Mesmero and his android Demi-Men captured her and took her to their desert headquarters, with the X-Men in pursuit. The psyche generator awakened her mutant powers, and Mesmero named her Queen of the Mutants. Excuse me. So yeah, that's quite an intro, right? Let's keep going though, because I have lots to go over with her. So, when the X-Men attempted to rescue her, Magneto revealed himself as the leader of the group behind her abduction, and more importantly, claimed to be Lorna's father. Despite the X-Men's assertions that Magneto is evil, Lorna could not bring herself to fight her own father. Iceman then returns from meeting with her foster parents, who told him that her birth parents had died in a plane crash years ago. This information caused Lorna to turn against Magneto, but it was later revealed that she had caused the accident and Magneto had her memories of it erased with the help of Mastermind. For a while, Iceman was attracted to her, but Lorna did not truly reciprocate the feelings. She instead fell in love with their teammate Havoc, who I personally love Havoc as well. I think he is awesome. He has always been one of my favorite X-Men, and I don't think I've done a deep dive on him, but I need to at some point. So you know what? I'm gonna add it to the list, and if I did it, then that's great, but I don't think I did. So, let's see. Let's do Havoc next week. Yeah, we'll do Havoc next week. And we'll just keep it all in Marvel, apparently, because that's going to be a lot. Like, that's going to be like the next six episodes. Okay. Unbeknownst to Lorna, the Magneto who claimed her to be her father is revealed to be an android. Shortly after, Lorna was captured by Sentinels, but was rescued by the X-Men. Lorna joined the X-Men and began living at Xavier's mansion. Lorna then aided Havoc and the X-Men in repelling the alien Xenox's attempted invasion of Earth. Lorna's first codename was actually Magnetrix. But she quickly decided she did not like this name. I don't think anyone liked that name, so good on you. However, that did not keep Havoc from continuing to use that name as a way to annoy and flirt with her. The two leave the X-Men to pursue their mutual interest in geophysics, and they move to the Diablo mountain range in California. Excuse me. Okay, Lorna with Havoc is later seen battling the Hulk, and when the old and new X-Men fought the mutant island Krakoa, Lorna displayed the full potential of her powers for the first time by disrupting the Earth's magnetic field, which sent Krakoa into deep space. They then joined Moira McTaggart at her facility for genetic research on Muir Island. Lorna then received a new costume of Shi'ar design when her mind came under the domination of the Shi'ar intelligence agent Devin Shikari, also known as Eric the Red. It was Eric the Red who gave Lorna the codename Polaris, which she has continued to use ever since. At that time, Shikari served D'Ken, then Emperor to the Shi'ar galaxy. Shikari kidnapped Alex Summers and Lorna, and subjected them to a powerful form of mind control. He turned them against the X-Men in an attempt to assassinate Professor Charles Xavier, and a massive battle ensued at Kennedy International Airport. With the duo battling the X-Men, Polaris was defeated by Storm, but Shikari managed to escape with both her and Havoc. Xavier eventually freed both Polaris and Havoc from Shikari's control. Excuse me. So, as you can see, like, she's having integral parts in all these things. Like, they're not really big for her character, but they're big in her story. So that's what made this, like, so much more detailed than I thought it would be. Because, like, normally, a story like this I would take out if it wasn't integral to her, to who she was. Okay, but anyways. Let's see. Polaris and Havoc remain inactive as members of the X-Men, though they did return from time to time to assist the team. With the X-Men, they battled Proteus on Moore Island, and for the most part, Lorna and Alex remained in civilian life for a number of years, settling in New Mexico and completing their college degrees. They were forced to reluctantly help the X-Men in Arcade's murder world, and their new life was interrupted when the Marauders ambushed them around the time of the Mutant Massacre. Polaris' mind was overtaken by the psionic energy being known as Malice. Now, under Malice's control, Lorna attacked the X-Men as leader of the Marauders. Shortly thereafter, the Malice entity found that it had become permanently bonded to Lorna's body. She led the Marauders against the X-Men during Inferno, and after Mr. Sinister was seemingly killed, Malice's hold over Lorna weakened. Temporarily regaining control of her own mind, Lorna was able to place a phone call to the X-Men in Australia for help. But they arrived too late, as Lorna had been taken to be with her alleged half-sister Zaladane, a priestess for the Savage Land Sun People. The X-Men arrived in time to witness Zaladane's getaway, though Havoc managed to infiltrate her army in disguise while the X-Men followed. In the Savage Land, the X-Men found that Zaladane had amassed an army of Savage Land natives who were being mentally controlled for her by Worm, one of the Savage Land's mutates. Excuse me. Zaladane then revealed that she is in fact Lorna's sister, and using the High Evolutionary's machinery, stripped Lorna of her magnetic powers, taking them as her own. In addition, the process managed to finally separate Lorna from Malice, Zaladane, and her forces clashed with Kazar and the X-Men. During the encounter, Lorna's secondary mutation activated. She grew in height, became invulnerable, and gained superhuman strength. Saladane's army was released from Worm's control, and Lorna finally regained her freedom. I am so sorry, guys. Please excuse me. Having nowhere else to go, Lorna went to Moira McTaggart's mutant research station on Muir Island, and on her way there, her secondary mutation activated again, as evidenced by a sudden increase in height. At this time, she discovered that her new mutation also affects those around her, amplifying negative emotions such as anger and hate. Or, they could just be really annoyed, that on their way to this island, so they're either in a boat or they're in a plane. More than likely they're in a plane, and she just starts growing to fill up the plane. A plane is a metal tube. You can only be so big in that. So just take that into account. Think of others. Alright, anyways. Upon examination, Dr. McTaggart was at a loss to explain Lorna's new mutation, although she did confirm that the only way Zaladin could have taken her powers away was if she had been a biological sibling. Excuse me, I don't know what that was. Okay. So shortly after her arrival, Lorna joined the Muir Island X-Men team formed by Moira and former X-Men Banshee. This team defended Muir Island from the attacking Reavers who were hunting for Wolverine. Prior to this time, it had not been clear that Polaris was actually drawing strength from being a nexus for negative emotional energies. Polaris' status as a nexus, however, was perceived by the villainous Shadow King. The Shadow King used Polaris as a gateway to allow him access to the physical world from the astral plane, causing a worldwide increase in anger, hatred, and violence in the process. Polaris was freed from his influence with the help of X-Factor and the X-Men during the Muir Island saga. Upon the defeat of the Shadow King, Polaris' magnetic powers returned due to a combination of Zaladane's death, a short time before, and the neural disruptive psionic blade of the X-Men Psylocke, who we just covered, leaving no trace of her increased size, strength, or emotion control powers. Thank goodness that was empty then. We don't need that. Excuse me. Alright. Polaris was then asked to join the newly formed X-Factor by Valerie Cooper, and tired of hiding out on Muir Island, she accepted. Havoc and Polaris were set as its leaders, and although joining X-Factor offered Polaris the chance to reunite with Havoc, their relationship remained largely unresolved. Polaris was able to come to terms with her experiences with mind control thanks to psychiatrist Dr. Leonard Sampson, helping her to develop her confidence. Polaris developed a strong belief in Xavier's dream while a member of X-Factor. Polaris became the government's secret weapon against possible attack from Magneto, with the government hiring the mercenary Random to test her abilities. Malice later returned to bother her once again, but Havoc and Polaris, out of their love for each other, each tried to absorb her, preventing the other from being possessed. In the end, Malice perished at the hands of Mr. Sinister. Excuse me one second, I'm going to get a sip of water. Tip, 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 tip. Okay. So, let's see. Malice was absorbed or perished at the hands of Mr. Sinister. So shortly thereafter, there's a whole lot of shortly thereafter. So have you noticed that? I feel like I've said that a lot. But anyways, Havoc was then kidnapped by agents of the Dark Beast who forged a note explaining that Havoc needed to get away from Polaris. This devastated Polaris, causing her to feel abandoned and betrayed. X-Factor's atmosphere changed as the criminals Mystique and Sabretooth were forced by the government to join the group, and Polaris began to question her place on the team after this, especially as most of her original teammates were no longer active. She discovered Havoc's fate as he attacked X-Factor with the Dark Beast agents, apparently under mind control, and after Havoc was defeated, Polaris tried to reach out to him, only to be attacked and severely injured when she felt she could trust him. When Sabretooth betrayed and attacked the team, Polaris was severely injured. After recovering from her injuries, and learning that Havoc's terrorist activities had been a front for his true undercover work, Polaris forgave him, although she rejected him romantically. Okay, so like we're cool with each other, but not that cool. She also agreed to join Havoc's new X Factor team. However, during their first team meeting, she can only watch as Havoc was seemingly killed in the explosion of a faulty time machine constructed by the mutant from the future, Greystone. Although Havoc had left Polaris in charge of his team while trying to stop Greystone, she apparently did not feel like she could keep the team together, and they disbanded shortly after. Excuse me. Weeks later, Nightcrawler encountered Lorna in a church, and she confided in him that she still felt as if she was being followed, and she was sure Alex was still alive. A group of Skrulls working with Apocalypse were indeed shadowing her, and broke into her apartment to retrieve the headgear from Havoc's original costume. When I first saw that, all I could think was like, "Are you making fun of my headgear?" So, just keep that in mind. Let's see here. Lorna then learned that she was one of the 12, a team of mutants supposedly destined to usher in a new golden age for mutant kind. Polaris journeyed with the X-Men to Egypt to battle Apocalypse. And during the encounter, Magneto, another member of the 12, discovered that he could use Lorna to tap into the Earth's magnetic field with incredible force, effectively hiding the reduced state of his powers at the time. Now, this is something I don't understand. Excuse me. I always thought that the 12 were like these super powered mutants, but they all controlled like a different aspect. I think you had Storm, I think you had Iceman, you had Magneto, you had people like that, and then almost like elementals is a good way to say it. Like they control like the very fundamental forces. So why do you need two magnet people? That's what I don't understand, and I don't think that was, personally, unless there was something I don't understand with it, and of course there could be, so please let me know in the comments if there is. I don't think that was good storytelling. Excuse me. So I could be wrong, but I might not be either. Alright, anyways, after Apocalypse was defeated, Polaris returned to Genosha with Magneto to supply him with power and help him keep order. She believed she was doing it for the greater good, but also enjoyed the education and her powers that she received. Magneto then launched a full-scale assault on Carrion Cove, which was the last city opposing his rule, in order to gain access to technology that would restore his full abilities. So that's the reason. I guess he wanted to gain access to the technology. I'm sorry I said that weird. Polaris attempted to stop him, but she was defeated and left the country with the Avengers. She later returned with Quicksilver to help oppose Magneto's tyrannical rule. Although Quicksilver was discovered and forced to leave Genosha, Polaris maintained a low profile in order to covertly transport refugees from the war to other nations, as well as monitor Magneto's actions. So it was like the mutant Harriet Tubman, which is kind of awesome. Excuse me! Alright. After Magneto's spine was severed by Wolverine, Polaris was able to steal a blood sample from his medical test, which she used to confirm that Magneto was indeed her biological father. When Cassandra Nova Sentinels destroyed Genosha and massacred millions, Polaris was one of the few survivors. She was left emotionally scarred, though, after witnessing the massacre and being unable to save them. Okay, so we finally established, once and for all, that Magneto is her dad. So does that make Zaladane a daughter of Magneto as well? Or is Zaladane maybe, because they said half sister, so I don't know how that works sometimes. Unfortunately I was sheltered growing up. So could that be where maybe the mom gave birth to Zaladane and they have different fathers? Is that what that means? Once again, let me know in the comments, because I don't know. I honestly don't know. I thought I did, but maybe I don't. And if I was right, then we need Zaladin to show up at some point. To be like, hey, Dad, I'm here too. And then we can see, and then would that put a different spin on like the House of M and stuff like that? Like, too many questions, not enough answers. All right, let's see here. So, later, some of the X-Men went to Genosha to survey what occurred there. They encountered a nude and deranged Polaris in Genosha after its population was massacred by Cassandra Nova's Sentinels. When Polaris rejoined the X-Men, she got dressed, and the extremely traumatic experience had left her with a darker, more ruthless personality, even killing some members of the Anti-Mutant Church of Humanity. So, I left that part in, not because she was nude and deranged, but because she actually resorted to killing. Which is like a big no-no, especially if she started believing in Xavier's dream, right? So Havoc later broke up with Polaris after they were engaged to be married, leaving her at the altar for Nurse Annie Gazikanen, and that's the name I'm sticking with whom he had an affair while he was in a coma using telepathy. That's messed up. Because, like, you couldn't even be in a coma and stay faithful. Dude, you're in a coma. Just sleep. That's all you gotta do. Just stay there. You don't have to cheat on someone while you're in a coma. Like, you're a dick. Alright. Anyway, Polaris, now driven to instability, yet again went berserk and commenced to go on a rampage that nearly resulted in her killing Havoc. A case was made that it was due to the trauma from Genosha, but nobody bought it. Juggernaut succeeded in knocking her out, and she remained this way until some psychic therapy with Professor Xavier. Polaris promised to do no more harm, and she was accepted back to the X-Men. Iceman then later admitted to Polaris that he still had feelings for her, and after some mild flirtation, the two began a relationship. The relationship was not to last, though, because Lorna's other relationships, namely the one with Havoc, were still unresolved, and Havoc had confessed to still loving her after Annie had left him. However, Polaris pushed him away. Yeah, good on you, Polaris. You know, like, that's what happens when you have one job, and that's basically to sleep, just to take a nap. And you can't even do that right. Good on you. Okay. So, it was later revealed that Polaris had lost her powers on M-Day. Now, if you don't know what M-Day is, that's one day the Scarlet Witch went absolutely crazy. And she blamed mutant kind on everything that happened. So she's like, fine, no more mutants. And then like 97 or 98% of the world's mutants lost their powers in an instant. So she was one of those. But she had avoided telling her teammates. When confronted by Valerie Cooper, who has knowledge of her power loss, Polaris claimed that her power loss is purely psychological, and she believes she is preventing herself from using them. Polaris eventually was forced by circumstances to accept that her powers were gone and admit the fact to the rest of the team, whereupon all other team members, except her would-be paramours Iceman and Havoc, revealed to her that they had already guessed it. Excuse me. She then left the mansion with Havoc to search for her lost powers, irrationally convinced they lay with an alien named Dap, a seeming twin to the deceased X-Statix member Dupe, who she had seen on a recent mission in space. Dap soon crashed to Earth and kidnapped Polaris and the Leper Queen, the leader of the anti-mutant group known as the Sapien League. So, yeah. Like, she was in huge self-denial there. And I can't imagine, being so powerful, losing it, and then just trying to go on. Like, you're going to like grasp at straws because, you are so freakishly powerful. So, Apocalypse took them both, which is the Leper Queen and Polaris, restrained the Leper Queen, and forcibly transformed Polaris into the new pestilence of the Four Horsemen. Seemingly mind-wiped, she ingested viruses from the World Health Organization and was attempting to create a meta-plague. In the climactic battle between the X-Men, the Avengers, and Apocalypse, Wolverine discovered a choking pestilence was Lorna. She was recovering in the X-Mansion when former Horsemen of Apocalypse, Gambit and Sunfire, returned to take her away. She arose and refused to go with them, but also decided to quit the X-Men. Polaris then decided to leave that night to search for Apocalypse in Egypt. She went alone and was later hunted until Havoc and the new Uncanny X-Men team saved her. Emma Frost has also noted that her powers seem to be strange and mutating. So there's that, I guess. Okay. After being rescued from an anti-apocalypse cult by the new team, Polaris agreed to join Professor X, Darwin, Havoc, Marvel Girl, Nightcrawler, and Warpath on their mission to stop Vulcan. Her current relationship with Havoc is still developing, and Polaris seemed to finally show concrete signs of forgiving Havoc, telling him to just shut up and kiss me after the team won their first battle against the entire regiment of Shi'ar soldiers in their beginning struggle against D'Ken and in support of Lilandra. Although Havoc initially rebuffs her advances, hesitant to start up again after everything that happened between them. Lorna says that he needs to blow off some steam. Excuse me. And the scene ends with them kissing. Polaris helps in the big fight and seriously hurts Vulcan and Gladiator with her powers, but in the end, she is one of the X-Men left behind. Excuse me, hold on. Had to blow my nose a little bit. Alright. Following the death of Corsair at the hands of Vulcan, Polaris joined the newest incarnation of the Starjammers, intending to kill Vulcan and restore Lilandra Naramani to the Shi'ar throne. Their mission proved unsuccessful, and Polaris, along with Havoc, Shad, and Raza, was captured and incarcerated on an underwater planet by Vulcan. Lorna was later shown to be a prisoner of Vulcan by his forces. Vulcan ordered her to be heavily drugged so they can further study this, and she was later freed by Havoc and the other Starjammers who vowed to kill Vulcan. Alright. Once again, like, a lot of these I wouldn't normally include, but she's been major parts in it, so I felt that I had to. And that's why this is so long. And I appreciate you guys sitting here with this. Let's see here. Polaris and the Starjammers played a large role in the War of Kings storyline, which also featured Vulcan, the Inhumans, Nova, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Pursued by a Shi'ar super destroyer after escaping, Lorna uses the fact that she is Crystal's sister-in-law to allow the Starjammers through the Kree's defensive shield. After the Shi'ar Imperial Guard's attack on Crystal and Ronan's wedding, Lorna plays a minor but pivotal role in regaining Kree popular support for the Inhumans by making sure that Crystal's humanitarian acts towards the injured Kree civilians are broadcast all over the Kree networks. After this, she once again joins the Starjammers on their mission and rescues Lilandra. They promptly commandeer a Shi'ar ironclad, which she helps capture by magnetizing the Starjammers to its hull, which they then use to join the main Shi'ar fleet until their cover is blown when they rescue Rocket Raccoon and his team, the Guardians of the Galaxy. See, so you heard it here. According to this, Rocket Raccoon is the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's his team. So we can take that. Hold on 1 second. I'm so sorry, guys. I really am. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, let's see here. Alright. Okay, following the surrender of the Shi'ar to the Inhumans, Lorna remains on the Shi'ar homeworld along with Havoc and Marvel Girl. During the Breaking Point storyline, Longshot used his psychometric powers to read a photograph of Lorna's mother and nominal father, from which Longshot learned the truth about their death. Lorna forced Longshot to show her what he had seen, and using M's telepathic powers to make a connection, Lorna was devastated to learn that the first outbreak of her powers led to their death as in a plane crash. Magneto had Mastermind manipulate her memories to repress her involvement in her parents' death, and later Polaris and Havoc have broken up due to Havoc agreeing to lead the Uncanny Avengers and Polaris wanting to remain with X-Factor. So that was a little weird because I thought that she was Magneto's daughter. So maybe this could be like this foster parents, or maybe a first set of foster parents. I don't know. Polaris is now the leader of X-Factor. The name was brought from Maddox, is actually bought from Maddox. I'm sorry, who was Multiple Man, by Serval CEO Harrison Snow. X-Factor is a corporate team that protects the interests of the company, and it's revealed that Harrison secretly had nanos put in her right eye without her consent. Her half-brother Quicksilver is on the team and is secretly spying on her for her ex Havoc. During the Last Days part of the Secret Wars storyline, Polaris assisted Magneto during the incursion between Earth 616 and Earth 1610. As the energies of the two planets inch closer to impact, cascade and send chaos through the streets, Magneto and Polaris are taking the fight to this other Earth, battling the parallel Sentinels sent after them. Polaris is shocked to see the energy levels her father is exhibiting, all the while trying to protect the people caught in the crossfire of Magneto and the Sentinels. During the Secret Empire storyline, Polaris breaks in on a prison in New Tian when Havoc is about to attack the time-displaced Jean Grey and Jimmy Hudson. While Jean and Jimmy look for their teammates, Polaris manages to defeat Havoc and helps the young mutants to escape. Upon escaping, Polaris and Danger reveal to the team that Magneto assigned them to look after them, after which they've done secretly. In the new status quo for mutants post House of X and Powers of X, Professor X and Magneto invite all the mutants to live on Krakoa and welcome even former enemies into their fold. Polaris is seen with Magneto as he explains the process of resurrection for mutants involving the combined powers of the Five, which is Hope Summers, Gold Balls, which is great, Proteus, Eva Bell, and Elixir. Polaris is then seen attacking the last compound of Orchis on Earth with Magneto, Storm, and Cyclops. Later she joins Rachel Summers, Daken, North Star, and former X-students Eyeboy and Prodigy in a new initiative in Krakoa. They are to investigate any mutant death and prepare a report for the Five as part of the resurrection protocols of Krakoa. Their first case involves the supposed deaths of North Star's twin sister, Aurora. Following the conclusion of the X-Factor title, Polaris was elected during the Hellfire Gala to become a new member of the main X-Men team. So, that's her history. That's a huge history, but as you can see, like, she's been in so many things and she's been like an integral part of so many things. Did I miss anything? If I did, can you tell me what? Because I have no idea. I think I went through all of X-Men history at this point. Excuse me. But yeah, let me know. You can reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram under superherodeepdive. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment. I'll respond. Like, subscribe, share, help me grow the channel. You can email me directly. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. But you can email me directly at b4itall, so b4itall@yahoo.com. But yeah, like that's crazy, isn't it? Like, she's been such a big part of everything. But yet she doesn't have as big of a presence. She's just kind of there. Now her powers. Polaris's powers enable her to sense and control magnetism, including manipulating metals, which are susceptible to magnetism. Her powers come from celestial technology that reactivated her X gene, as proven by Cerebro. Polaris can generate magnetic energy pulses, create force fields, manipulate the Earth's magnetic field, and allow herself to fly. By concentrating, Polaris can perceive the world around her solely as patterns of magnetic and electrical energy, and she can perceive the natural magnetic aura surrounding living beings as well. She has bright green hair, the first indication of her mutation, and at first she dyed her hair brown to hide this, but later she appears with her characteristic green hair. Briefly in her history, Polaris lost her magnetism power, but gained the ability to absorb negative emotions from the environment and use it as strength, endurance, invulnerability, and the ability to temporarily increase her height and mass. She eventually lost these additional powers, and her original magnetic powers returned. Polaris was also among the mutants depowered by the Scarlet Witch during the House of M storyline. However, due to Apocalypse's manipulations, celestial technology restored her X gene, returning her natural magnetic abilities. The limits of her magnetic powers are unknown, and she is referred to as one of the biggest threats of the current team by the opposing Shi'ar Imperial Shockers, Cybernetic Guards. In the Emperor Vulcan storyline, she shields the Starjammer against the attacks of a whole fleet of starships, and was shown to directly destroy at least one enemy battleship with a magnetic blast. Hold on one second. Excuse me. As the Horseman Pestilence, Polaris had shown the ability to ingest virulent diseases without harm, absorbing their traits, and according to Apocalypse, is able to spread a metaplague that will kill anyone who has not been inoculated with the virus's vaccine, the Blood of Apocalypse. She has also been shown to fight off toxins and drugs quicker than normal. Lorna also possesses expertise in geophysics and has earned a master's degree in that field. So that's pretty cool. She's got brain, she's got brawn. I love the fact that her magnetic abilities are, like, the limits are unknown, because that's important. Like, I need you to remember that. Fun facts. Polaris appears in the animated television series X-Men. In the episode Cold Comfort, she is a member of X-Factor. Polaris had been a member of the X-Men alongside her boyfriend Iceman, though they eventually left to pursue a normal life. However, Polaris left Iceman to become a member of X-Factor and fell in love with Havoc. She returns in the final season to help battle the Phalanx, and Polaris also makes a brief cameo during the two-part episode Sanctuary. Polaris also appears in the animated series Wolverine and the X-Men. She had a very close relationship with her father in Genosha, and it was the feature during the episode Badlands. Polaris was the sole survivor after Genosha was destroyed, thanks to Magneto's last-minute attempt to save her. In the present, she forms a brief attraction to Gambit when he tries to steal Magneto's helmet as part of a larger plot, though he later ends their relationship, causing her to angrily leave him stranded out at sea. In the episode, or causing Gambit to remark that she has her father's power and her sister's temper. In the episode Foresight, Part 3, her future self assists in the X-Men's fight against the Master Mold, but Master Mold proves too powerful for them to defeat. However, in light of the X-Men in the past intervention, the Sentinel-run world is avoided. And back in the present, Polaris later turns her back on her father and watches him get banished, as Scarlet Witch has blinked teleport Magneto and Quicksilver away. Emma Dumont plays Polaris in Fox's live-action TV series The Gifted. The character co-founded the Mutant Underground with Thunderbird, and she has a daughter named Dawn with her boyfriend Eclipse. She appears in Magneto's ending in the video game Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 alongside other members of the Brotherhood. Polaris also appeals in LEGO Marvel Superheroes. She is a playable character in Uncanny X-Men Days of Future Past for iOS and Android. She flies and fires green magnetic blast. I wonder, is that even available now? I don't think it is, but we're going to see. Okay, I have a Samsung Galaxy S20, so that should be able to run it if it's there. X-Men Days of Future Past. No. So that's no fun. She is also a playable character in Marvel Super War. So let's see if that's there. I don't think that's there either. Marvel Super War. No, there's Marvel Strike Force. But no Marvel Super War. That stinks. You know, Marvel had this one thing. It was like War of the Gems or something. It was like a card game. But it was so fun, and I don't know what happened to that, but I miss it. But anyways, yeah, so those are some fun facts. Those are her powers. So she can do so much. I need to know, what do you guys think of her? Email me at b4itall@yahoo.com. You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram under Super Deep Dive. Use the hashtag Superhero Deep Dive. I haven't posted in a while. I'm still there though. I need to start posting some superhero memes because I used to do that, and I need to get back into it. Unfortunately, and I won't lie, while I'm at work, I usually have my phone playing like Raid Shadow Legends on auto, so I just don't even touch my phone for hours when that happens. And I need to get back into it because I miss doing it. But also, yeah, you can email me, you can catch me on Twitter, Instagram. If you're watching this on YouTube, please comment, like, subscribe, share, help me grow the channel. Please, please, please help me grow the channel. That would mean so much. It's like a little click for you. Means a lot to me, and it's very much appreciated. Alright, but now we are going to come to the part, this is one of my favorite parts. This is the power expansion. This is where I go and see if we can do a show, a cartoon, a movie, a new series, like new comic series or something. Like, what could we do? What would the storyline be? Who would we cast, and all that kind of good stuff. You know, like where could we take this character in order for them to reach the next level? So, Polaris came in as a request, but it was someone that I was a bit hesitant to touch on. Mainly because, and this is just like her history shows, she's been a part of pretty much everything. And not just a little part, but usually plays some key role in whatever she does. Like, in video game terms, she's kind of a game changer. Like not in the way that she'll turn the tide of battle every time, but in the way that when she's on your team, things will go a lot easier for everyone else. Like she's not going to make or break a team, but she will definitely enhance a team like crazy. So with that being said, I can only see a couple options for her. Now, Seema Gifted, and I love the character. I think the actress does a great job with her. And I can see them being brought into the MCU via a multiverse thing. But that's so easy. Like, on one hand, they'd have the casting and backstory set. And on the other hand, it could be seen as lazy. And I kind of honestly, I see it as being a little bit lazy. So I'm staying away from that, but I'm just saying it could work. And I don't think a lot of fans would mind because it's you have these established histories, so it definitely could work. I just don't know if I'd want it to, you know? It could be there. The other thing I can see is bringing her in with something like a new X-Men movie or standalone movie. The only problem I see with this is that we have X-Men, excuse me, if we have X-Men, it's almost a given, we have to have Magneto. And if we have Magneto, then we really can't have Polaris, because the new fans or unfamiliar fans will just see her as a ripoff. And I think that's a terrible disservice to the character. So in essence, this kind of gets thrown out too, you know, if you think about it. Like, if we have Magneto, we can't have Polaris. They're just too similar. They're too similar. So what I'd like to see is a comic mini-series on Polaris. I want to see her start to study her father, because he's ultra powerful. And also, you know, some of the writers for Magneto have done amazing things with his powers. And I'd like to see Polaris expand on that. Because the power of magnetism is a really cool thing, and there's so much that we can do with it. So, with that being said, I'm going to cough again. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So let's have her study physics and her father in relation to magnetic poles, gravity, magnetism, stuff like that. Let's have her grow her powers to the point where she can go back out to space by doing something like creating her own atmosphere and manipulate black holes and stuff like that. And from there, she can become this cosmic force and go to different planets and help them out. But not necessarily by defeating evildoers, but by helping advance their technology, keeping their helping their environment and stuff like that. Let's boost her up to a goddess-like status. And from there, she can get noticed by the Nova Corps, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and go from there. Could you imagine Polaris with all her powers amped up, and then boosted with the Nova powers? That would be insane. She'd be one of the most powerful characters in the universe. And the thing I see the most with Polaris is that her father is really powerful, but he's also getting older. So you would think with that, his power levels should start to wane a little bit, right? So there's no real reason that his daughter, with the same powers, shouldn't be able to surpass him. As parents, we all want our children to do better than we have, and I think this could really be the story to do it for. But what do you all think? Let me know. Does my story hold any water? Does it work at all? If it does, that's great. If not, I'd love to hear what you think. Have you watched The Gifted? What do you think of it? Do you think the actress or even the storyline in general could be brought back to the MCU? Via multiverse? I'm anxious to hear what you all think. Do you have a news story for her? Leave a comment. Email me at b4itall@yahoo.com, or like I said, catch me on YouTube at Superhero Deep Dive. New videos are posted every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and I also have Twitter and Instagram under Super Deep Dive. My DMs are always open. So yeah. With that being said, guys, I'm gonna go get some soup and rest up. I hope everyone is blessed. I hope everyone is happy. I hope everyone is safe. And I really hope everyone is smart. And if you're not smart, don't get caught. I will see you next time. Bye-bye, guys.